It's sad that our country thinks that they need to put a bill into a legislature like this, or that they can get away with putting into a bill like this. Because, in my opinion, parents and children and families are very sensitive issues. Those are emotional relationships, they're financial, they're medical, they're educational, and the state is not the one to decide how to raise kids. And so we can do what we can with laws to keep kids safe and to not have kids, harmed in any way, but we already have laws that try and do that. I mean, you can imagine that the educational code, what they would do is the educational part of this bill. We haven't had the legal analysis. There is no reference to any existing California law in this bill except for the homeschooling paragraph.
Designed to keep them from fighting it.
And designed to keep them from fighting this bill. So your thoughts that you could actually put a bill in like this without acknowledging California's extensive law in this area is mind-boggling to me. I don't get it.
What are the top 3 things you would recommend them doing?
Tell their legislator how they feel. Tell their legislature personally how they feel. And tell their people that they know that are in authority positions in the government. For example, their county commissioner, their school board, their parenting organizations that they belong to, their child organizations that they belong to, child health organizations, their preschoolers, to get the word out that they better take a strong look at this bill to see if it can be interpreted in a negative way so that it may not be a good thing in the long run. And also I think it encourages people, know the law that you already have.
So people could look at
the family law code of California and see if you like it and see if it needs to have anything like this. The state of Washington passed a bill like this. I was reading about it. There's a video on parentalrights.org. They are an organization that protects parental rights. And the video was about the state of Washington passing a children's rights bill. And in that video, it showed some of the bad cases that came out of that law so that they had to change it eventually. One of the cases was a child that was a teenager that didn't want to go to church on Sunday. So what happened was the person that didn't want to go to church on Sunday told their school counselor. The school counselor brought in the parents to talk to them about it. And they had to go before a judge and had a hearing. But before the hearing, they brought in the parents. The parents said, no, he has to go to church on Sundays. And they brought a child protection worker in and took the child away and put the child in foster care until they could have a hearing. So the hearing came up a couple weeks, whenever, later, and the judge said, no, the child, because of the law they had passed, had the right not to go to church on Sunday.
So the judge was basically tasked
following the law.
Right.
They had to follow the law.
So that's when they figured out the law.
And so they had a number of these cases, so that's when they figured out they had to change the law, because the way that it was implemented was so bizarre in terms of how the culture really functions on a daily basis. But the thought that there would be that situation where the school could hear something, and the child really didn't want child protection to come and take him away, but they had to. The child protection came and took him away from his family because he was having a feud with his family. So I just think people don't realize how things can actually be applied in law. And when you put this much law into words, it can be applied many, many ways. And I think...
and we already, in California, are notorious for having a runaway CPS. So this would just fund them more, is how I perceive it.
Well, it seems to have a lot of... And it'd be interesting to see how your family lawyers and divorce attorneys would look at this law here and to do an analysis of how it would affect the education code, how it would affect the healthcare law code, how it would affect the family law code.